commitment comes from self-worth. Because Rashmi, if I feel like I'm good enough that my health is important to me, then I'm going to be committed enough to pay attention to my health. If I feel that my mental and emotional well-being, if I'm worthy of having equanimity and passion and peace of mind and all of these things that we seek, if I'm worthy of it, then I'm going to be committed enough to put in the effort to achieve that. So I guess, and I think that was a big thing for me, because I didn't have self-worth. That little girl in the red tricycle didn't have strong self-worth, but you can learn it as well. But Rashmi, I don't think our societies, whether it's an Indian culture, whether it's a Western culture, South African culture, I don't think we teach ourselves to have self-compassion, self-care. It's not indulgent. It's not you've got to be humble because otherwise you're not of value. I think self-compassion is where compassion for others begins, but I don't think we teach that to people.
Yes,
I said
very, very, very true. And I think in the times of the pandemic, especially in the last 1.5 years, many people turned caregivers and forgot in the process to take care of themselves.
Yes.
And they had a burnout. So I think that self-care and self-compassion and self-love that you're talking, have you seen that in the last 18 months, a lot has shifted towards the need for it?
Absolutely. Maybe that is one of the markers of what it is. Who knows why we're going through what we're going through, but maybe it's not about planetary change in that, but maybe personal change in that. Unless we are compassionate to ourselves, it's going to be very difficult because things haven't got easier. And maybe everybody's going to maybe start traveling with vaccine passports, etc. But we don't know that. But here's the element of self-compassion or compassion, actually in general, Rashmi, which has been quite life transforming for me to understand, is I used to care about people and I was trying to help people. I think I was trying to help myself by helping others. All the counseling work and the grief work and the addiction work and the trauma work that I was doing I was always trying to make things right for other people. But something I think that I've learned is that compassion actually is much higher than empathy. Compassion is much higher than sympathy. It's much higher than support. And I love to think of a hospice care worker. For example, a hospice care worker knows that the person that they are supporting is not going to make it. They're at end of life. They're supporting them through the end of life process. But that hospice care worker is able to show compassion for that person without an attachment to a positive outcome. I think when we're trying to help people, when you're trying to rescue people, we get attached to that person being okay, to that person, fixing themselves, or we're helping them to get to a better place, as opposed to just being there, caring, being able to be present with that person, no matter what the outcome is. And I think we can translate that to self-compassion as well. If I'm compassionate to myself, I love myself and care for myself. And by the way, I'm still a work in progress here. So don't think that this is why I have to do PhDs on these subjects, because it's so tough. But I do believe that to be compassionate to myself is to know that no matter where I end up, no matter what, because we don't know what the future is, no matter what the future is, no matter what the outcome is, I have developed enough resilience. I have the resources and I'm okay to navigate that no matter what it is. And I think that's about self-compassion more than just, hot baths and candles, although I think those are great, great things to do as well.
True, very true. Because one of my friends always says that meditation doesn't have to always be sitting in one place and chanting. It can even be walking on grass and being mindful of it. Yeah, because what you spoke just now, Colleen, about doing it for others, especially with hospice workers, and knowing the outcome is not going to be positive. It takes me back to a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which is all about doing your work and not worrying about the fruits. So the detached attachment that comes in, where the symbol for me is the lotus. And that's where I connected with you in that webinar as well, where you brought in that beautiful lotus. And my question at this point is, what does the lotus symbolize for you?
So, and the beauty of the lotus flower, and I love the symbolism in the ancient scriptures around this kind of concept, is that we learn through suffering. You know, that is, learning doesn't occur. People don't put it in. It's wonderful to have the light times and the easy times and the joyful times. That's not where we learn and grow. We learn through suffering, or we have the opportunity to learn through suffering or not. But it's our life journey. We choose whether we do or not. And so the lotus only being able to survive in the muddy, swampy water means that the beauty can only shine out when we do experience difficulties and challenges. So to be okay with that, to be present and at peace with that, and even within the times of darkness and despair, it's not that we've got to be all joyful because everything's going to be fine in the end, but we need to be present in order to grow. We need to be able to be present with the darkness, with the despair, because it is what it is. So be present with it. And out of that shall come growth and fulfillment. And we can use words like enlightenment, although I feel that's really above my mental ability to conceptualize it even closely. The other thing I think, which also somebody pointed out on that webinar, which was quite nice, was that the seed of the lotus is always there. You know, and it flowers, blossom, you know, sort of petal by petal by petal, not all at once. So it's an emergent process. It's not just we put it in, germinate it, grows and dies, and that's it.